Okay, so customer is trying to get these columns lined up so that they look the same across the top. So I'm going to do some research to find out what is going on here. So I'm going to first of all click inside the container to see that we have a container, one container holding all of this inside of a layout 3x3. So let's go to the layout 3x3, and I can see right now that the layout 3x3, the boundary is here, but the actual containers are outside the boundary. And that says to me that this was stretched using the method I never recommend doing, which is clicking this and moving this. The reason being, we get into situations just like this. Groove loses track. My recommendation is always never use those sliders. Never use this as your sizing option. Always instead use the controls over to the right. So we have height relative to parent 89. I'm going to make that auto. Okay, so all of a sudden you can see that it popped it down so that it would fit. So let's do that for each one to begin with. So let's go to the container. Let's go to size. Height is relative to parent auto. And again, it popped it down a little bit. And then let's do the same thing with this one. This is container. We're going to size. Height is going to be auto. Okay, now we've got them set to where they are. The container is controlled by the controls over here. Let's go to the layout 3x3 now, and we see that this is still, the containers are outside. So now we're going to go to size again, and we're going to go to auto. All right, now our container, now our 3x3 is all using automated spacing. So let's check something else right now, because now the container is down over top of the block below it. So let's go take a look at the block itself, which is this blue thing, and let's go look at size again. All right, so we have a fixed height here. I'm going to go change this to auto. All right, now we're looking much better already. So we have a block, we have a header in it, we have a 3x3, and then we have space at the bottom of it. So let's go now figure out the spacing inside these containers. And probably before I do too much, I'll go ahead and recreate this 3x3. But let's take a look. So let's go to spacing, and it looks like we have 28 and 29 inside here. So just for me to clean things up, I'm going to go ahead to 0. And I'm going to do the spacing here, the same thing, 0. And now I have this image, and this image. Now, the other thing that I noticed then is the images themselves have different proportions. So let's go take a look at, for example, this image. And one of the things we can see right now is this is 3900 by 2600, which, you know, there's no way we need it to be that large. Let's just go with the new system, and let's see if we can find that one. And we're going to go in here to crop and resize. So first of all, let's go ahead and make this more like 800 by 533, just so we have a smaller image that we're working in. So we're going to crop and select, and then let's see what this one is. This one is 7360. These are huge images, and we don't want images that large. Let's go resize this to, again, we're going to do the same thing, 800 by 534. Almost the same. So let's crop and select. So now we have 800 by 534 and 800 by 5. Let's go to this one now, and let's edit this one as well. So here we go. And we're going to go in and edit this so that it's 800 by 5 something. So let's go 800. And you can see that this is 600. So what we're going to do is we're going to crop it so that we're getting it down a little bit closer, and we can't see specifically. Let's go again. Let's see what happens. 507, so that's not exactly what we want. Let's get it just a little bit larger. And go back and resize this. We just need just a tiny bit larger. So we're going to go here and here, 800. That's pretty close right there. So we're going to crop and select this and crop and select. Now we're going to update, and you can see now that the images are all lined up because they're the same proportions. Now let's find out what's going on here with spacing so we can line up the rest of this column. So first of all, let's go see if there is some spacing after this image. And there is none, so then the spacing has to be, okay, so let's go the text. All right, let's go to text size, spacing. Why is the text outside of the container? This is a problem. Here is text, and here is okay, there's two different text boxes here. Okay, so let's go to spacing on this. All right, the spacing is inside this top box. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of spacing. If there is any spacing, I'm going to go here, check out spacing. One thing to note is always put your spacing in the same place. So be very consistent about whether you're putting spacing underneath an object or above an object. And our rule of thumb in my business is we always push things down the page. It just helps us not lose track of where the spacing came from. So let's do it over here. Let's go ahead and put space, and it was about, let's just do 20. All right, and let's do the same thing over here, spacing 20, and let's do the same thing over here, spacing 20. All right, so we're getting them lined up. Now we have another issue where we have a title. Now this picture, this image looks like it's just a little bit shorter than these. So what we're going to do to fix that right now is we're just going to go to spacing. We're going to put another 2 in there or something and see if we can bring that down. 24. That looks pretty lined up. All right, and then I think maybe we want a little spacing underneath the title. So again, I'm going to push this down the page. I'm going to put the spacing underneath the text. So let's just put 10 in here to give it a little bit of space. So let's do the same thing. Spacing 10, spacing 10. All right. Now we have, let's just do a quick look here and see if there's spacing inside here. There is 16 after, which is fine. Let's take a look at this one. Nothing after, so we're going to go ahead and put some space after that. And I see our button is moved. We're going to take care of that. Okay, so we're getting lined up here. Spacing, we put 10 after that. But we still have more space in here. Let's check it out. I'm going to get rid of that. Again, a lot of times when I'm working on something like this, I'll just start over because you can see that the spacing is put in a lot of different places and we can't quite tell where we intended it to be. This is still a little bit lower than this. So what I'm doing now is just working a little bit at pixels. That's about lined up right there. I'm going to show you another way. I'm going to make another video so you can see a better way to do this. But for now, I'm trying to fix this customer's site for them. All right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the lines are not going to line up because we have 7 lines here. So in order to fix that, I'm just going to put another line in. And let's see, let's do it this way. There we go. Actually, I'm going to put a little spacing below this again, just to try to line that up a bit. So let's go 20, 22. That's pretty close. We're going to go 24. Now you can see the bottom of these are lined up pretty well. Okay, again, if this were my site, I would have started over by now. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and put a little spacing underneath this, and we're going to go ahead and put 20 spacing, and so we're going to make this 44, and we're going to put spacing under here of 20. All right, now we're getting, I think, more to where we want this to be. It looks like there might be a border around this text. I'm not sure why there is a line in here. I don't know if you all can see that. There it is. Nope, that's not it. Y'all see this line right here? I'm not sure what that's coming from. All right, let's go look at the button. All right, so we have a button, and let's go to configure, and we say the button is linking to nothing. It says more. Let's go to design. Let's go to size. The size is automatic, so we're good there. Let's go to this button and take a look. So size, normal. Let's check spacing. All right, so here we have spacing. A bunch of spacing was added. Let's just for now remove that. And then you can see that this centered. The issue with this button going all the way across the page has more to do with the layout of the container that's holding it. So I'm going to go to the container that's holding it. I'm going to go to layout, and you can see this. We're going to go put it in the center, and now the button is centered, but we still have the text off center. So let's go take a look at the text and check the spacing on that. Here's the issue right here. I almost never put spacing inside of a text part of a button. All right, so I'm going to pull that out. That's the button main label. Now I'm going to click on the button again. Go to spacing. We got nothing there. Size. We got nothing there. All right, so again, when it has been changed this much, just from my point of view, I'm going to add a new button. So I'm just going to go, because these buttons have been spaced strangely. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab a new button, put it in right here. The button is supposed to say more. Update. And the button also is supposed to have a background of white. And the text is supposed to be black. And it looks like it is a weight of semibold maybe. That is close to what the customer has on here. So what I'm going to do is delete this button and just put the button in that I just created. So I can see also, I'm going to want some space under the button. So I'm going to go on the container that's holding it and put the space inside that container. So let's put 20 in there. All right, it's starting to shape up, right? So what I'm going to do is grab this button, duplicate it, and pull a copy of it over here. And then I'm going to delete this button. And then I'm going to put the 20 inside of this container. Go to my breadcrumbs, make sure I'm in container. And okay, we have a spacing issue. We're going to have to work at that, but let's go ahead and do the same thing over here. Duplicate it, grab that one, put it over here, get rid of this one, and we're going to put spacing inside the container again. Oops, I put that after the container. My bad, put it in padding. All right, so we have a couple things going on here. I noticed that this button is not as tall as this button. Did you see that? And so I think that's what's causing our spacing here. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on there. So the size, nothing going on with the size. Let's check the spacing. We have 8 above and 8 below. Let's see if we have the same thing here. Spacing, 8 above and 8 below. But it does look not as tall as these, does it not? All right, so here again, I'm going to say it one more time. I would start over with these columns. And I may come back and just rebuild these columns from scratch so you can see a better way of doing this, but I'm just trying to fix this from where it was. So that is not exactly lined up. These still look larger to me than this one. That could be just in my head. But at this point, we at least got the images and the text lined up. I'll be back with another tutorial on how to actually create this so it's absolute. Because what we're going to see is when we go to a different screen size, it's messed up. And we go to another screen size, it's messed up. So we have to go through all of that work each screen size. And I'm going to show you a way that you can create this and it will absolutely stay in the same position in the columns. Next video.